Hello friends, today I will be solving a particular problem which has been asked in most of the companies when we go for the front-end role as a JavaScript developer. And the question will be like this, that write a polyfill for a particular function which is a predefined function in JavaScript. So giving an example for this scenario is that when an interviewer asks for you to write a particular polyfill for a filter function, then how will you proceed with it? So let me give you a brief idea how the filter function works in JavaScript. So when you want to filter a particular array and do some operation on that particular array, and result will be having the filtered data. So over here, giving the example, there are list of numbers and we are doing an operation like for each number it should be greater than 6. That's then only we will be putting into the array. So our resultant array will have the list of numbers which are greater than 6. So over here it will be 7 and 9. So eventually the result will be 7 and 9 in the new array list. So if you run this particular code, then we can see in the console that the result is 7 and 9. So over here I have also shown one more thing, is that if you are not familiar with ES6 syntax, then you can have a look into this particular line of code which has been commented over here, like how the filter will work for the ES5 syntax, and it will be more or less more easy to understand if you are not familiar with ES6 syntax. So you can have a look over here. So secondly, now we want to build this particular filter function without using this predefined filter function, and we want to do the same operation by building a particular polyfill of it. So how it will be done is that I will just show you the snippet of code where I've implemented it. So now you can see over here. So this is the one. So what is happening, let me show you the function which we are using. So we are passing the similar argument which we are passing before, and this is my filter function which is been a new function which added to our array prototype. So this is the way we used to write a polyfill. So giving this example like this, so there are different ways to do it, but this is the one which is more important for the interview, so that you can make a distinguish between the initial and the new one. That's why I've written as a different name, otherwise it will be overwritten. So what is happening is that if you can go further, and if you can see over here, then this particular function which is written over here, this is the callback function. So this is a callback function which operates on each iteration of the array element. So for each element of the array, it will have the value of it, that particular element, and we can do some operation on that particular value. So there are two other parameters also which are optional parameter, which is not used over here. So we can see that further, and we can use that in our generic polyfill which we are building, and we can utilize it in our next example which we are showing over here. So now let me show you how my filter is performing. So I already told you there is a callback function, so I'm calling that callback function as callback, and now we already know that it will return a particular new filtered array. So here we are creating a new array and we are returning that array at the end. So this is how the return will be working and parameter will be looking like. So now in between we are doing a particular task, is that we are calling this callback function for each iteration of the value which we are having in the array. So now for the array, how it will take is that over here we write array.myFilter. That means we are eventually giving a context, like for my filter we have a context of this array. So our this property will contain that context which is the array, and it will be used over here. So we can iterate around that array, and we can pass that element on that index for that array to the callback function, which are the first parameter, and we have two additional parameter which are optional, and we can talk about these two things further when we are talking about another example. So in briefly you can understand is that this I indicating the index on which we are operating, and this is eventually the entire array on which we are operating at that particular at that particular iteration. So this callback will return something. So if you can see the previous example, over here it is returning something. So what is eventually returning? It will return either true or false. So why true false? Because this will result into either true or false. So either the numeric is greater than 6 or it will be lesser than 6. So it will be either true or it will be false. This is the value returned over here. So return value will be either true or false. So the callback will always return either true, that means it's obeying the rules which we have defined in the function, or it won't be obeying. So if it's obeying, then it will go to this particular if statement and it will push the actual element on that particular index and to a new array, and at the end when we are end with the iteration, it will return the entire array at last. So now we have the new filtered array out here. So if we are running this particular code, then let's see what's happened. Now let me expand it and let me show you. So this was the previous one and this is the new filter array. In the new filter array, the result is similar to what we have in the previously. So that's why we can say that this polyfill is working as similar to as what was doing for the predefined filter function. Now to check with that how we can utilize these fields, or is there any use case for these things, then are these arguments are useful or not. So for that case, we can do one thing is that we can see example. Let me show you another example. So over here I have already written an example for showcasing it. So here what is happening is that there are list of fruits and we are doing my filter. That means we are filtering that particular fruits and we are doing some kind of operation on it. So here we have three arguments. First is fruit, which is each fruit which we are iterating upon, and there are index on which that fruit is situated on, like index of 0 there is apple, index of 1 there is mango, and so on. And there is array. Array is entire list of, that means entire array which we are performing operation. So we can take use of these three parameters and perform some task on it. So over here what is happening is that if you can see this last line over here, we are returning the length of, returning all those fruits whose length is lesser than 7. That means it will return only those fruits which is having the character less than 7. So over here there is apple, mango, grapes, papaya, banana. These are the things which are having, these are the fruits which are having length is lesser than 7, but pineapple is more than 7. So it should return eventually these particular fruits as filtered out. But there is one more line is written over here. So what will be done due to this line? So what this line is doing is that it's popping at each iteration the one element from the array, and the pop eventually remove the last element from the array. So for each iteration it's removing a particular element. So let me first run this and show you that how is the result is showing, and then I can explain you that how that result came upon, because then you have more idea that what is expected, what you might be expecting, and what is the result coming up right now. So let me run it, and now let me expand and show you. So over here the value is apple and mango. That means we are returning only apple and mango. So what happened to these things like grapes, papaya, banana? These are also the elements, these are also the fruits which are lesser than 7 in the length. So why it's not returning that? So it is due to this line. So what this line is doing is that it's popping at each iteration, popping one element from the array, which is the last indexed element. So eventually pop do perform that way. So it's kind of a last in first out kind of approach. So what is happening is that for first iteration we are talking about apple. At that particular iteration it will remove banana from the array. It will remove banana from the array, and our array will have only these many fruits. Now for second iteration, it will iterate for mango, and it will see that last index papaya, and it will remove papaya. So our array will look like this. It will have only these many fruits. And then we have a third iteration where we have pineapple. Then it will, at that time, the last element will be grapes, and it will remove grapes, and only the fruits which is left in the array is these three. So now eventually what happens is that when we're talking about this last line, we want to filter out uh, all those fruits which are having length lesser than 7. So pineapple will be excluded, only these two will be left in the array, and these two will be utilized, these two will be returned back. So this particular new array will have only these two elements, rather than having other these grapes, papaya, banana, because these are already popped out. So array won't be having it, so it won't be used over here. So this new returned array will be having only apple and mango. So I hope that you have a little bit understanding about how this index and how this array is performing. Eventually its index is actual index on which we can perform some tasks. We can go to an index and do some changes accordingly. So these are the useful scenarios which we can utilize for it. So I hope that this is a little bit clear to you all. So now I have already put it this particular snippet of code into as a link to your description. You can go through it, play with it, and you can perform some operations accordingly, and you can come up with some solution. So that is all from this video. I hope you like this video. So stay tuned for further videos accordingly. Thank you.